Hi, I'm Brad Phillips here with Puppy Steps Training. I've got Teddy with me today. So this is part two of this video. So the first part covered the keys to success, the crate training, and the house training. So if you haven't watched that one yet, go watch that before you watch this video, because all of that information is very important for what we're going to be doing with Teddy, or what we're going to be demonstrating with him. So during this video, we're going to pull Teddy out. He's in the crate right now. We're going to walk through the manners, the obedience commands, and the leash work. So I'm going to explain a behavior. I'm then going to demonstrate it, as well as we'll talk about how to follow through and manage those behaviors. So you're also going to see me target the bells with Teddy. So during that first video, you saw me demonstrate with Mojo, but now I do want to make sure that I show you as we go through with Teddy. So let's get him out of the crate and let's just jump right into our manners. The first manner, let me grab this leash here. The first manner we're going to go over are our gates and our doorways. So anytime Teddy comes out of the crate, we go through a house door, we go through a gate. Any closed door, I expect Teddy to show that he's in control, and he waits until I release him through that threshold. So this can be expectation can be created with any threshold in your home. You just have to be consistent with it. Here we do every closed door. So if a door's been wide open for the last 5 minutes, I'm not going to expect him to run over and stop at that threshold at this age. Once again, you can quickly build that up, but right now we're doing it with any closed door. And anytime I do approach a new door, something or a door that Teddy isn't familiar with or hasn't been expected to stay at, I am going to set him up just in case he does break. So like with this crate door, I'm not just going to fling it open and expect him to stay there while I run away. Instead, I'm going to prepare that he might try and step out. And if he does, I'll just simply close that door and then try again. With like a house door, I'm not just going to fling it open. Instead, I usually open it kind of like this with my back towards it, so I can spin and I can use my leg to block him. Or if I have a leash attached, I can use that leash and give him those 2 pops. Okay. My expectation obviously is that he's staying and waiting, but I am not giving him a command. This is an expected behavior. So I'm just looking for him to show that he's in control. He doesn't have to be sitting or laying down. He can be standing up. He just needs to be looking at me for the release. So we'll pull him out now and show you that. Okay, releases him. Good boy, huh? And then I'm going to hook this leash on him. And immediately I'm going to show you this exterior door, show you kind of what those expectations are. You can see he's looking at me. He did sit down, but he doesn't have to. And then, okay, releases him through. Okay. So same expectation with coming in as going out. He just needs to show that he's in control, patiently waiting for me to release him through that threshold. There's no treat, it's just an expected behavior. So now we're going to talk about his greeting, or his sit to greet, which is what he's doing right now. If he wants my attention, he's going to come over and sit and get it. This is a replacement behavior for jumping, so he's not jumping up, he's not pawing at me, but he's being very polite. When he is being polite, I'll go ahead and give him that attention. Good boy. Because this is what I want when he greets, especially my family, but with anyone. Now, new people, you always need to create this expectation, and especially with your family, this needs to be the rule. No, that he does not get to jump up on anybody, and if he wants my attention, he needs to sit to get it. So the way we're going to establish this is, 1, do not give him any attention if he is jumping or rearing up. I will quickly correct that. 2 is we're going to practice, hey, leave the leash alone, especially over the next couple days. So every member of your family that's going to have regular contact with Teddy is going to do this exercise that I'm going to show you. This does 2 things. 1, it establishes that greeting, and 2, it encourages him to engage with us so that we can start building this relationship. So what this looks like is you're going to take the leash, you're going to take your treat bag, And we're just going to say his name, walk backwards, and wait for him to sit. Once he sits, I'll mark the behavior and give him a treat. So it looks like this. Teddy. Give him a little pressure here. Okay. Once he sits down, I tell him, okay, give him a treat. I'm going to do this 3 times. Teddy. Okay, good boy. Teddy. Okay, good boy. Good boy. So you are going to do this exercise over the next 2 or 3 days several times, like at least 3 times a day. Just do it 2 or 3 times, give him a treat, and then you can pet him. After that, we're taking away the treat. We have taken away the treat quite a few weeks ago. So this is one of my first ones that I fade out that food reward, because the reward for Teddy is me giving him my attention. Okay. With a couple things. One, with small children, it's a very simple exercise, but if Teddy seems to be jumping on them or he's not listening, I'm going to have you take the leash and you can walk Teddy up to them. And then once he sits, they can go ahead and give him a treat or pet him. If he jumps, we're going to say no, off. I'm going to pop that leash and walk away. You don't have to walk away very far. It can be like 5 or 10 feet. You just need to get far enough that Teddy regains his attention. So this is the same thing with strangers. Now this is kind of a 2-part, I don't want to say issue, but one, if at all possible, I do not do greetings on leash, because your dog's going to get excited to see them and he's probably going to start pulling. And you're going to create a little pulling monster that way who thinks that every person on the street is there to see him. So one, while I'm on a walk, I don't let anybody come up and see my dog. The easy outlet there is just say, no, he's in training, and continue to move on. Other people don't matter, okay? Your relationship with your dog and him being well behaved is far more important than being uncomfortable and telling somebody no on the street. Now, if it's somebody you know and you want them to be able to say hi to Teddy, come here. I am going to do it this way. So if they were walking towards me and they said, hey, can I see your dog? And you're okay with it, or like I said, it's somebody you know, I'm going to stop about 5 feet short and I am going to have Teddy engage with me. So he's going to sit and go, good boy, and put his attention on me. This is probably when I would give him a food reward for that greeting. Then I can invite that person over and say, yes, you can come and see him. His name is Teddy. He's a wonderful dog. After they leave, I'll go ahead, do another greeting, tell him he's a good boy. So I come first and I come after. Come before, I come after. If he gets out of control anytime during this visit, he tries to jump up, we are quickly telling him no and going to get some distance. Once again, it doesn't have to be very far, but he does not get out of control. What you're going to find is he will get out of control, and the people are going to say, oh no, it's okay, I love dogs, why he's jumping up, and they're rewarding him for that behavior. And then he thinks, oh, new people I can jump up on. So we are very quick to correct any type of jumping, any type of out of control with this greeting. But with new people, Teddy is not going to immediately offer that greeting to them because he doesn't have a relationship. He hasn't built the expectation of the greeting with that new person. It's just a new distraction. And so we need to enforce that, and we need to help him understand that is what our expectations are. So that is our greeting. Couple things now. If he jumps up. So first, let's talk about, let's say he's sitting and he rears up, tries to reach up for that treat. I don't need help. He doesn't need to come halfway. So if he were to rear up, I would take that treat away and say, no, gently. So gently is a 2-part command too. 1, all 4 paws need to be on the ground if he's taking a treat. And 2, he needs to be very soft with his teeth. So if you ever feel teeth, if he ever tries to quickly jump up and grab it and inhale your hand, just immediately tell him gently. So when I do tell him gently, I expect him to be very soft, which he is a very soft guy. He's very good at that one. That's more of a reminder than anything. But if he approached me and he started to jump, he was trying to jump up on my leg, even if I didn't have the leash and this was just a random time throughout the day, 1, I'm never going to step back. You notice as soon as I step back and give him a little cue to follow me, it's exactly what he's going to do, is follow you. So instead, if he were to jump, I'm going to step into him and bring my knee up. Okay, I'm not kicking the dog. It's just, I don't like that. You see how he steps back. He's going to do that same thing whether he's standing or running to you. But if he actually did jump up, I'm going to say no, off as I bring my knee up. Make sure that I deliver that command as well as a correction for that behavior, and then help him succeed. With little kids, that's where you see more jumping. And so I always have a leash attached, especially early on, while he's getting to know my kids. And if he does jump, it's a quick no, off, pop, pop, just as I mentioned earlier, which he has done really well with my kids here. But he does get very excited about them. So we want to make sure that we're setting this expectation right off the bat. Oh, good boy. And this is the same thing if he's jumping up on something he's not supposed to. It's no, off. A lot of times I'll clap or I'll stomp, just something to get his attention and drive that point home. Real quick now, I want to talk about chewing, because Teddy, here, you're not going to be able to see it till you get home, but Teddy has not really lost many of his baby teeth, but he is in kind of the heat of teething. He's going to start dropping some of these teeth really quick, so he is wanting to chew on more and more things. It is important that we teach him what he's allowed to chew on and what he's not. Part of that is giving him plenty of things to chew on. So if he's wanting to chew on something he's not supposed to, I'm going to give him something appropriate. So that's marking an incorrect behavior. Once he starts chewing on something, like he kept trying to grab a hold of that leash, I popped it and said no, and then I will give him something appropriate to chew on. In this case, I gave him a toy. And that's just because that's what I had immediately available. A lot of times, if I notice that he's chewing on one particular thing, I am going to grab a toy that's similar in texture, because he's chewing based out of a need. I can't tell him what that need is, so I want to give him some options. That's why it's good to have soft plush toys, some ropes, rubber balls, just different things like that. Bully sticks are kind of a good replace all, because they're high value, the dogs love them, and you can about replace anything with that. But no matter what, he's not allowed to chew on your shoes, baseboards, furniture, anything like that. I'm very quick to tell him no, shut that down, give him something to do. Okay. Now, when he has something like a shoe or something that's more portable, I am going to use a drop it command, but this is a command that you want to practice quite a bit and not just use it when he has something he's not supposed to. Also with this command, we're not going to play keep away. When I work on this command, I just incorporate myself into his play. I'm going to take this leash off while we're playing with him. So I'm just going to throw his toy, ask for a drop it, and then throw it again. So it's really, really fun. Oh, good boy, good boy. So it's very simple. When I deliver this command, I want to make sure that he knows what I'm asking for. So this is with any of our commands. I'm going to say it like a command. Now, I don't need to yell it or be very aggressive, but I want it clear. So especially this drop it command, because he's playing with a toy, he's investing into, he is invested in this toy. I'm going to say his name, there's a brief pause, and then deliver the command. So it's Teddy, drop it. Good boy, good boy. When he lets go of it, I say good or good boy, and then throw it again for him. He is not allowed to grab the toy before I throw it or before I give it back to him. If he does, I'm going to quickly say no, correct him. And then if he's struggling with that, I like to say okay when I throw it. I didn't right there because I was in the middle of a sentence. But it looks like, Teddy, drop it. Good boy, good boy. Okay, and I'll throw it. So that way he knows he's allowed to get it again. Whereas if I'm taking it from him, I don't want him thinking that he can grab it out of my hand. Oh, good boy, good boy. Huh? Now, if he ignored my drop it command, I'm going to tell him no, and I'm going to take it away. Now, most of the time, if I reach for it, Teddy will kind of give it up. You notice though there, he tried to still grab it. No. Don't do that, huh? If he tried to grab it, this is not an effective way of taking the toy away. This is just playing tug with him. So there is multiple ways that you can take it from him. One, you can just take it on both sides and kind of curl your knuckles in. For me, I either like to go around the muzzle and wrap his cheeks around his teeth, or I'll go right behind his bottom canines and put my thumb right on his tongue. Okay. So I'm just very clear, no, take it away. Oh, good boy, I didn't mean no that you couldn't take it. Oh, okay. I do not give him a treat with ever dropping a toy. The toy is the reward. I want to keep this toy drive because I want it to be fun, and it's a great way to release some of this mental buildup as well as energy. If he had something like a bully stick or something edible, something I didn't want him to have, then I would give him a treat in replacement. Hi. Okay. Let's see. Handling. So we spent a lot of time handling him, making sure that he's comfortable with baths, with being blow dried, with grooming, as well as handling his ears, his tail, his mouth. I don't want him to ever get anxious or aggressive about it. I want him to be very comfortable. Good boy. So if he were to start squirming, I would just tell him no and kind of hold his collar, wait for him to calm down, and then I could go back to brushing. Yeah, that's a good boy. But he's very good with it. Huh. And when he's being a very good boy, I want to make sure that I tell him I'm giving him feedback, as well as in this case, I'm going to give him a treat. Huh. Good boy, good boy. Same thing, if I was clipping his nails and he started like pulling that paw back, I'm not going to continue to clip because I don't want to risk hurting him, but instead I'll just hold that paw, make sure that we're comfortable with it, and then I can go back to clipping. Oh, good boy. Now, if he tried to mouth me there, like he started licking my hand, licking, I have no problems with. But if he were to put his teeth on me, or if he just came up and started biting my pant leg, if he was excited, started biting a watch or hair or anything like that, I'm going to quickly tell him no, and I'm going to close his muzzle. So it's going to be a no, and then I'll grab right across here. I'm not clamping down. Oh, you did nothing wrong. You're a good boy. I'm not going to clamp down. It's not about hurting him. It's about a very quick shift in my body language and my voice inflections that tells him, I did not like that. I did not appreciate it. Now, it is important that we correct him and then we kind of remove our hands for a minute, because if I just say, no, don't do that, and then I continue to pet him, he just thinks, well, this is weird, and he doesn't see it as a correction. If he went back, like say I corrected him, I started petting him again, and he tried it again. He tried to bite me, he tried to put his teeth on. At this point, I'm going to tell him no, and I'm going to slide him away and stand up. So that way it's like, no, you don't get to be in my presence for a few seconds, and I want a very clear correction. Oh, you good boy. Okay, I believe feeding, he's extra bouncy today. Like I said, being out here in front of me, he's not putting his paws on me. It's one of those gray areas where you can correct it and shut that down, but at the same time, he's just excited, and he's not putting his paws on me. He's not jumping at my hands. He's just jumping out and about. So it's one of those where it could go either way. If he got really close to me and was jumping right here, then I absolutely would correct it, because he's starting to get into my bubble and jumping. Where he's out in front of me, I'm just going to let that slide. So with our meals, we feed him twice a day, so roughly 6 and 6. I think Teddy's at half a cup. Yeah, he's at half a cup of food, and each time we feed him, I expect him to hold a sit-stay. So all I have to do is shake that bowl usually. He'll bounce around and then he'll plant. Once he's sitting, I can let this bowl down, and I want to be able to stand all the way back up. If he breaks at all, I'm going to quickly say no and bring that bowl up. So it's an automatic sit-stay. Okay, releases him and he's free to eat. Now, we've spent a lot of time just being near him when he eats, petting him. I want to make sure that there's no resource guarding or food aggression, which he's never displayed any of that. He's a very good boy. I don't want to always just put my hands down in his food bowl or take his food away. Like, I want him to be able to eat in peace. But sometimes I will come and take it away and have him do another sit, like if he was struggling. Or sometimes I'll even throw something good into his bowl, so it's a very positive me being around him. Which I'm not going to let him eat all this food, because we still have a lot to cover. Oh, good boy. Nope. Okay, good boy. Okay. So that is all of Teddy's manners. So these manners we're expecting right off the bat. Okay. There, no. So there we're getting a little excessive. I'm going to correct it. Good. Now he shows me that he can be in control. Good boy. I'll reward that. So that way it's very quick. That's not okay. I'm done with it. And then reward him for doing the expected behavior or what I want him to do. So anyway, those are our manners. You're expecting those from day one. There is no slack there. This is how we build a relationship, and this is how we teach him that you have the same expectations I do. Teddy's a very good boy. He's very sweet, but don't let him try and push you around. The manners, day one, high expectations. Okay. The commands, which we're going to go into now, we are going to take it easy. This doesn't mean that you can't do them. It means that I'm going to lower my expectations and make sure that we build a relationship before I put him in a very stressful situation. So practice them in your house, keep them short, keep them fun and exciting. Like really, if you can dedicate 5 minutes a day, you're doing great. But don't take him outside into the park and expect him to do a 30-second downstay while you run away and people are walking past. I build these commands up. So the very first command I'm going to show you is the place command. So I'm going to pull his bed out here. And he's like, yeah, I can do this. So I'm going to pull him off. The place command is my absolute favorite command. The way that you do this is you step close and I'll say place. Once he's on, I'll tell him good boy and give him a treat. So he gets a treat when all 4 paws are on, and then it's an expected stay. Now, when he comes off, when I release him, I am not giving him another treat. I'm just giving him pets and loves and praise, okay? So the reason being is because I am going to continue to reinforce him staying on the bed. So as I implement distractions, the higher the distraction is, I'll come back over to him and say, oh, good boy, good boy. I want it to be kind of more of a calming good and tell him, you know, he's doing the right thing. He needs to continue. Now, he's doing a couple minutes on place with various distractions. With me just talking and there's nobody else in here right now, this isn't a very heavy distraction, so I'm not going to go and give him another treat or reinforce this near as often as if I open my office door and let my kids out. If they started running around, I would stay really close to Teddy and be like, oh, good boy, and really reinforce that stay because it's a higher level distraction. Okay, good boy. Teddy, place. Now, like I said, this is my favorite command. This is one where if you're really consistent, you can build this up to be 30, 45 minutes within the first year of having him. It just takes consistency and that positive reinforcement. I like to use this command when people come to the door. I can send him to his place and work on him staying while that visitor says hello and then leaves. Right? This is also a command we've been building up to where we can use it with anything with a defined boundary. So not just a bed. You know, you're out for a walk and I can put him on this stump. I can put him on a rock. Just anywhere where he can go out of the way. But we have to build that up gradually, once again, and we have to work on it. That's also why when I give him this command, I'm close, because I want him to read my body language, read where I'm pointing, to know where I want him to be. Okay, good boy, huh? So if I were building this up and I wanted him to go on the rug, Teddy, I would bring him over, come here. Place, and I would say place and point towards the rug. Good. As soon as he's on, I'll give him that treat. I'll wait. Good. Once he settles, I'm going to give him another reward. But if he tried to step off, I would quickly just say no and kind of step into him. And the first time you do the place command on something different, I would keep it short. Okay, good boy. Teddy, place. Good. So now we'll see. Watch as soon as one paw comes off. No. See that correction? Once he settles in, mark it again, and then I can give him a little bit of space. Okay, good boy. And that's the same thing even if I put him on his bed. If he took one paw off, so we consider that a break, I would quickly just say no and step into him. He is going to break. It's going to happen. And we just quickly tell him no and reset it, send him back. We don't let him get away with breaking. Okay. The next command we'll talk about is the crate command. So this is very, very similar in the way that I present it. So I'll just tell him, Teddy, crate, and I point. Once he goes in, I give him a treat, and he's expected to stay until released. This one is going to be a shorter duration. Okay, good boy. Because if I want him to stay in there for longer than 10 seconds, I'm going to close the door. So this is also a command you need to practice a lot, because if you only use it when you do lock him up, he will recognize that, and then he's going to build an aversion to the crate and associate it with always being locked up. Teddy, crate. Our standard for this command is just to be able to tap on top and say crate. Okay, but we have been building it up to where we can get a little bit more distance. This is a fun one to play a game where you can have them run into the crate from different rooms. Teddy, crate. It just takes some building up. You notice he hesitated, so I stepped closer. Now I'll break it down to help him succeed. Okay, good boy, crate. See, as I build it up, I stay. Now we're getting a little closer. Okay, good boy, good boy. Oh. Now, if he took one paw out, I would quickly tell him no and step into him. Okay. If he hesitates, you know, say I came all the way over, I tapped on it, and he's still standing like, I don't know what you want. Or maybe he's just being a little sticky because it's a new crate, it's a new house, he's a little nervous. One, I'll just kind of hang out right here. I might take my hand and go all the way in. Good boy. And if he still refused to go in, then I would take him, okay, by the collar, just right here, and kind of guide him in. But that's, once again, last case scenario. Good boy, Teddy. So I didn't give him the command. That's why I don't care that he came right back out. Okay, so that's place and crate. Now we're going to talk about his sit, down, and stay. So these three have hand signals. The first is sit, which our hand signal for sit is just a little scoop over the nose. So it's just this motion, my palm is up. Down, I'll take my hand flat, it's off to the side. And then stay is an extended palm stop sign. Okay, so Teddy, come here. Sit. Good boy. Stay. So once he sits, I'll tell him stay. Now my expectation is he's doing about 20 seconds on both his sit and down stays. If he lays down, I'm fine with that. That's more steady anyway. I'm going to not correct that, and we'll just go about the stay. But he is not allowed to stand up out of a down stay, or he's not even allowed to stand up out of a sit stay. If he does, I'll quickly tell him no and have him do it again. So this is a pretty simple stay. There's not a lot of distractions other than just me talking. Okay, good boy. And my kids talking in the other room. Oh, are we getting full? Starting to reject some treats. We're almost there, buddy. Might have to pause it and cut some ham and cheese, huh, dude? Okay, so for the down, I'm going to put him in a sit first, and then I just ask him, down. Now here, he's kind of looking away. I'm going to give him time to process, and then if he continues to look down or look away, then I will, there we go. Okay, good boy. Where he was a little bit slow, I'm going to immediately mark that one. He's definitely getting tired and full. Good boy. Teddy, down. So here, if he continues to just look away from me, this is Teddy saying he doesn't want to do it. There we go. Stay. So I just gave him time because I could tell that he knew what I was asking for, and that was kind of a battle of whose will is stronger. If he seemed confused, like he kept looking at me, then I might get lower and help him succeed. So once he goes down, I can tell him stay, And same thing, our expectation is 20 seconds, but he's not allowed to stand up. He's not allowed to break out of that. If he does, I quickly tell him no and have him do it again in that same area. We never end on failure. If he broke 3 times, clearly he's just struggling today. There's something going on, whether it's the distraction, whether it's an internal or external struggle. I am, okay, good boy, going to recognize that and then maybe lessen the distraction, lessen the duration of the stay, but I will just help him succeed. Good boy, good boy. He's not wanting treats anymore. Good boy, because we're just too tired, huh? And this is actually a good example why I mentioned earlier, like if you can practice these commands for 5 minutes a day, you're doing fantastic. And Teddy has a very short attention span. He gets tired and kind of burned out really quick. I mean, we've been going now for, 30 minutes, and he's done. He's like, I'm ready for a nap. I'm ready for something to chew on. Oh, good boy. But he's done with food. Good boy. We're almost there though, dude. Huh. The last command in this section that I'm going to show you is our leave it, which probably won't be very hard with food, to show you. So the leave it command is when he has not yet put something in his mouth. Maybe you're in the kitchen, you drop something that you don't want him to eat. I'll quickly say leave it, and leave it means don't touch it, don't sniff it, and get away from it. Or let's say you're on a walk and you come across something dead. I'm gonna say no, leave it, and we're gonna continue and quickly walk past. So with this command, I am going to reward him continually for leaving it alone. All right, so I've got some different treats here, and I'm going to put them on the floor. Make sure he notices them, and once he actually goes to look at them, he's tired. So if he were to go for them, I would just say, leave it, and when he puts his attention away from him, I would tell him good and give him a treat, which he's just, come here. We're going to see if we can, good boy, walk past him. Come here. So this is my expectation right here, and he's doing it great, is if I say leave it, I want you to give it some room. Don't even try it. So especially on a walk, if we're walking past it and I said leave it, the moment that he focuses on me and off of whatever it is, I'll say, good boy, good boy, good boy, and continue to reward him. Which, easy to demonstrate with food if we're full. Huh, buddy? Okay. If you have questions with that, let me know. You can also refer to another one of these recorded demonstrations on YouTube and see with another dog kind of what those expectations are. But with that, I am going to now shift the camera so I can access a little bit more of the room, and we'll go over his heel, the engagement, the long lead walks, as well as his recall. So, heel. Good boy. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is our heel. The heel is for you. This is not how we exercise Teddy. This is not going to burn him out other than mentally. So this is getting from point A to point B. I use the heel when I'm passing distractions. Good boy. This walk, he's not allowed to sniff. He's not allowed to get distracted or pull. His job is to stay right next to me and keep his attention focused on me. Now it's okay if he looks forward a little bit, but he's not allowed to pull at all. Good boy. And I'm going to keep his attention. Now, heel. Where this is a very focus-based activity, I need to give him plenty of feedback. So as he continues to do the right thing, I'm going to continue to tell him, oh, good boy, and reward him. So I do the heel in short bursts. I'm talking like, I'll do it for 30 seconds, I'll do it for 2 minutes. 5 minutes is like an absolute max heel. Good boy, heel. So like I said, this is getting from point A to point B. Expectation by my side. When I stop, he stops. Good boy, good boy. So that's kind of what it looks like. Now, obviously, we're inside. It's raining outside. Don't have a lot of distractions. Pretty easy to do inside. 1, me and Teddy have a relationship where he trusts me. 2, there's very limited distractions. So for you, as you get him home, focus on building a relationship. Don't take him immediately from the airport and go walk him through a park and expect him to heel, okay? heel. Instead, no, we're going to walk him for the most part on a long lead, and then we're going to practice the heel. So I would start by practicing the heel in your home, just as I'm doing here. Walk him around the kitchen. Then maybe we'll go to the backyard. After he's doing well in the backyard, let's go to the front, and we'll go down a house, back a house. But we're going to build this up gradually over the next week. Why we build a relationship. Because if we're expecting him to pass a distraction, like maybe another dog, he has to trust that I'm going to take care of him. So we need to build this relationship first. Otherwise, you're going to stress him out when you encounter a distraction, and he's not going to know what to do. And that's where you're going to get a reactive dog. He's going to start barking, maybe lunging, maybe trying to run away. Just depends on the situation. But he's not going to want to heel for you. So you need to practice this. For me, I go out on a walk with this long lead so that he can run a little bit. And then it's like, oh, here comes a jogger. Let's go into a heel for the next 30 seconds while we pass the jogger. Oh, there's a stroller. There's another dog. Let's heel past them. So one, when we're in a heel, he does not get to greet anybody. Okay? One, like I mentioned with the greeting, if he's on this short leash and we are practicing a heel, and even on a long lead, I don't do leash greetings. If there's another dog, we're not meeting that other dog. We're not going to meet new people. Our walk is for us either to get past it, we're on a short leash, or that we're there to exercise. We're not there to get overly excited and jump on new people and other dogs. Okay. If he starts to pull, so there's a couple different levels of correction that I will use. One, if he's not yet pulling, but maybe he noticed another dog or he noticed a distraction and he stops paying attention to me, I will just try and get his attention to where it's like, hey, oh, good boy, good boy. And if that works, great. No. So you can see he's getting a little distracted and wanting to bite the leash. So I've given him a couple simple corrections. He tried it again. I gave him a little bit more of a firm correction, and now we're being good. It could also be, well, most of it's just that we're tired and we're teething. Okay, so going back to the pulling. First, I'm just going to say, hey, something just to get his attention. If that doesn't work, then I'll tell him no, and I'll pop that leash. Kind of like I just did. So it's no, pop, pop. If he regains his attention, then I'll say, good boy, and we'll keep walking. Good boy. But if he went back to pulling, I would do it again. No, pop, pop. Okay. Good boy, good boy. But if that works, that's the most invasive that I'll get. If that didn't work, if he went back to pulling again, then I'm going to come to a complete stop. I'm going to change it up because clearly my no, pop, pop, that correction did not work, and he's trying to pull again. So then I'll stop. And it'll be, I expect him to sit. It's kind of like, hey, are you paying attention to me? Oh, good boy. Now let's start walking. If he immediately went back to pulling, then I am now going to get a little sporadic or crazy with my walking, if you want to say that. I'm going to immediately turn around. I'll walk through him. And now, come on. I'm going to walk at a quick pace. There's going to be a lot of turning, a lot of zigzagging. I'm going to do anything and everything to make it so that he can't guess which way we're going and he has to stare at me. He has to pay attention to me. So we haven't had to do that with Teddy. We haven't had to do this back and forth deal because he's been really good and he's very receptive to that correction. But if he gets out of control, I am going to quickly walk back and forth. I am never going to let him approach or get to a distraction if he's pulling. He always needs to be in control. You'll also notice that this is a pretty short leash. It's only a 4-foot leash, but I give him like 1.5 feet of space. Okay, that way I can give him immediate feedback. If we're walking, come on. He can't drag, but if he even got just a little bit in front of me, I can immediately say, hey, and give him that correction. You'll also notice that correction, they are pops. Right? It's not this tension and pulling him. Now I do use some leash pressure to get him to follow me, or if we're turning. So you can use that leash pressure, but that's giving him information. That's not correcting him. If I'm going to correct him, it is a very quick pop, pop. Huh. Come here. You can tell that he is very, very tired right now. Huh. He just wants to take a nap. So that's our heel. Once again, that is for you. That is not for Teddy. Teddy's walk, will be on a long lead, which I'm going to demonstrate in 1 second. But first, I want to talk about what to do when you encounter a distraction that is just too much. So Teddy cannot focus on you. You've went through those steps, or maybe he just immediately gets in the red zone and he is being reactive. So reactivity comes in many different forms. It can be just bark, 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 or it could be trying to run away, could be trying to run across the street and he's just pulling, acting like a crazy fish. If he gets into this red zone, healing him or trying to walk past a distraction is pointless. Okay, all you're going to do is get frustrated, you're going to start to get embarrassed, or you're going to get anxious, you're going to tighten that leash, which then tells him that we should be anxious and we should react more. So it is pointless to try and keep walking. Instead, I am going to engage with Teddy, and engagement is just as it seems, or as it sounds. I am going to get some distance and I am going to help him focus on me. So immediately, there's a few steps that we're going to follow. So immediately he gets distracted, he starts barking, or he's trying to walk away, run away. I'm going to step in between him and the distraction and give him a little tension up, kind of back him up, and just tell him a quick, hey, hey, something like that to get his attention. Because he's not yet pulling, he just noticed that distraction, he's starting to bark, he's starting to get reactive. So I don't want to immediately throw in this no and startle him. Instead, I'm going to step between and it's like, hey, hey, oh, good boy. Once he pays attention to me, I'm telling him good, telling him he's a very good boy. If he is trying to dance around or he just seems very nervous or very reactive, I am then going to get some distance. So that distance might be, once again, 5 feet off to the side into the grass, or it might be 50 feet away from the distraction. I will give him as much distance as is needed for him to start to relax. Once he starts to relax, I'm once again keeping myself between him and the distraction. As he calms down, I'm telling him good, and then I will open up and let him observe the distraction without interacting. If we can do that, if we can watch the distraction go by, I love it. We call it the art of doing nothing. That's helping him build confidence and starting to see that that distraction is not going to bother him. So we're just going to watch it. I'm going to reward him for being calm. If he gets out of control, I'm going to say no, step into him, and help him regain his composure. If he keeps trying to dance around me, I will even bend down, get right kind of into his face until he focuses or refocuses on me. Then I'll stand up and we'll go back to watching the distraction. The key to this is remaining calm. If we're anxious, he's going to be anxious. So we just need to be calm, in control, give him a lot of feedback. Okay? So I am going to grab one of my children from the next room and have them come and be a distraction so that I can demonstrate this. And then we'll talk about his long lead. All right. So now I brought Marley out and she is going to be my distraction and I am going to engage with Teddy. So this is probably more of an exaggerated distraction, but you never know what you're going to run into, and I'm just going to show you what I would do if Teddy started to get reactive. So I'm going to engage with Teddy, Marley's going to be a distraction, and we're just going to see how it goes. So I'm going to walk over here, you kind of stay over here for right now, you can do whatever you'd like to distract him, but wait till I say go. Come here, Teddy. So come here. And Teddy already loves Marley, so it'll be a good distraction. Okay, so if we were walking and we came across it, go for it, Marley. Try and distract him. So one, he's just wondering what's going on with her. Teddy, good boy. He shows that he's calm. Okay, Marley, why don't you make some noise, slap the ground, stomp, go, hey, hey, pop, 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 anything like that. Just don't say his name. Nope. So you can notice there's a quick, good boy, quick correction, good boy. Okay, make some more noise. Grab that chair and act like it's a stroller. I'm going to move Teddy around. Come here. You can see he obviously recognizes she's there. Good boy. But he's under control, which is what I want. So we're just rewarding calm behavior and we're watching the distraction go by. Come go around us. Yeah, use the chair. Act like it's a stroller. So now if he gets nervous at all, Good boy. So there we got a little nervous. So I'll put myself between him and the distraction. Teddy, hey. This is also where, good, I can bend down and block him. I can also use a watch me command. So it's, Teddy, watch me. So here he's ignoring me. I'm going to step in. Hey, watch me. And okay, there it is. Waiting for just a flicker of eye contact, and then I'll reward that. So that's a very simple example of engagement. You can see he was very well behaved. He was under control, and so I let him watch it, but I am going to give him feedback when he's being good, he's being calm. Any flicker of attention he gives me, that was great. If he needed, it's just a very quick correction, just said no. And you notice I did have to kind of block him once or twice. So that's what engagement looks like. All right, so we're going to talk about the long lead now. This is my preferred method of walking Teddy, giving him this space that he can run, he can sniff, and this is how we get rid of some of that energy, and it's just really good for their mental health. A dog needs to sniff, and taking them for a walk on a short leash is not going to exercise them, and my expectation is that they can't sniff because they're paying attention to me. So most of your walks, I want you to be on a long lead. This is one of my shorter long leads. This is 15 feet. I think it's great for around the neighborhood, or we use it when we go up to campus, and so we just take him on a walk. If he gets towards the end of the leash, this is when I work on his recall command. So the recall command is, Teddy, come. And my expectation is that he comes to me. If he doesn't, I'm going to tell him no, and I have this leash to reel him in. The moment that he starts to come towards me, I'm going to say good or good boy, and then once he gets to me, I'll say okay. So I brought Marley back out here. She's going to be my distraction, which, as you can see, Teddy livened right back up, so she's a very good distraction, and I'm going to demonstrate his recall. So I'm going to get a little bit of space. You come over here, Mars. So you can see Teddy's excited to see her. The one thing, you can use your kids to practice this as well. One, he doesn't get a jump, so she did good correcting him there. The key is, if they're the distraction, they don't get to say his name, and they don't get to call him to come. The person that is holding the leash is the only person that gets to call the dog to come. So if I were to give Teddy the command, it's going to look like this. I'm going to say, Teddy, come. Good boy, good boy. Okay. Once he gets to me, I say, okay. Oh, that's a good boy, huh? Reward him, and then he can go right back to doing whatever, which in this case, I'm going to, there we go. He sees Marley again. He walks away, and I'm going to do it again. So it's, Teddy, come. Good boy. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Okay, on this one, I'm going to pretend like I called him and he ignored me. And so if he did, I will say no, and I'll give him that pressure. So if I said, Teddy, come, and he ignored me, I'd say, no. Good boy, good boy. You notice that he was kind of tangled up, so I just gave him a quick pressure. He paid attention to me and then started coming towards me. The moment that he started to come, I said, good boy. So I reinforced that behavior, rewarded him when he got to me. Now, if he was off leash, which one, you are going to practice with the long lead before you ever take him off leash. But if you have him off leash and he fails, he is not allowed to ignore me, and I'm not going to go chase him. But I am going to follow through, and he needs to be successful with that command. So one, practice. Two, if I said, Teddy, come, and he ignored me, immediately I would say no, and I would start walking towards him. The moment that he notices, oh, good boy, I'll start walking backwards and reward him. So even if I had to go 90% of the way there, but that last 10%, he noticed me and he started to come towards me, I'm going to stop walking, tell him he's a good boy, and reward him. I will never correct my dog for coming to me. If I had to go 100% of the way there, when I got to him, I would say no. I would hook a leash on, and then I would tell him come, and I would back up, have him follow me, and reward him. So that way I marked the incorrect behavior and then reinforce the correct one by helping him succeed. Okay. The moment that he fails, he goes back on a long lead, and we know that we need more practice. He never gets to fail. The good thing about Teddy is he loves affection, he loves people. So if he thought that he could play keep away, I am then going to do a little reverse psychology here. And so I'd be like, Teddy, come here, come on, come on. Oh, Dad's a good boy, good boy. So that way he chases me, I don't chase him. I'm never gonna chase him. If you get to a situation where you think that he's going to fail, instead of calling him to come, just go and get your dog. It saves a lot of frustration. But once again, I am never going to allow him to fail, and he never gets to ignore me. Okay. So that is our demonstration with Teddy. We're very happy with where he's at. He's a very good puppy. I don't know that you can see him right now because he's off camera with Marley, but we're super happy with where he's at. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. We're happy to help and hope that he has safe travels. And thank you again for allowing us to train him. At the end of the first video, you saw Mojo ringing the bells, and we went through that whole process. So now I just want to quickly go through it with Teddy just to show you kind of Teddy and how he rings the bells. So the first time, we're just going to do it, okay, off the door. Good boy, good boy. I'm going to do this 2 or 3 times. Okay, good boy. Where he's a little tired and distracted from all that. We're just going to do it twice. And now I'm going to bring him over and we're going to ring him off the door. Come here. Good. So you notice I had to lure him a little bit closer. Now I'm just going to stare at the bells. Okay, outside. Good boy. Okay, outside. Good boy. Nope. We're done with treats. So now I'm going to take him out. Okay. Good boy. Whew. Okay. Good boy, huh? Oh, yeah. Okay, so very simple. Just wanted to demonstrate Teddy ringing the bells just so that you could see him do everything. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. We also have the house training schedule in the back of the manual, which you do have that paper copy inside your go-home bag. If you need anything, please reach out. We've really enjoyed Teddy. He's a very sweet guy. So I hope you love him as much as we have.